If you want to be great, you have to be the baddest Motherf times cur ever. Not loud, not fake tough, not pretending online. I'm talking about internal violence, the kind where your excuses don't survive, the kind where your weakness doesn't get a vote, the kind where comfort knows it's not welcome anymore. Because greatness is not built by nice intentions, it's built by ruthless standards. And most people don't have them. They want greatness, but they still want to feel good every day. They want respect, but they don't want to suffer. They want the reward, but they don't want the war. And that contradiction is why they stay average forever. Let's kill the fantasy right now. Being great is not pretty. It's not balanced. It's not peaceful in the beginning. It's obsessive. It's lonely. It's uncomfortable. It's waking up, knowing today is going to hurt, and deciding to do it anyway. It's looking at the easy option and choosing the harder one without drama. No motivation, no hype, just execution, day after day, when nobody's watching. Especially when nobody's watching, you don't become great by feeling inspired. You become great by becoming dangerous to your own comfort. You become the kind of person who doesn't negotiate with weakness, the kind who doesn't need perfect conditions, the kind who doesn't wait for permission, the kind who moves even when fear is screaming and doubt is loud. That's the baddest Motherf times cur energy. Not ego, not arrogance, control. Most people are controlled by their mood, their hunger, their phone, their emotions, their past, their environment. They think they're free, but they're slaves to how they feel. You can't be great like that. Greatness demands sovereignty over your mind, over your body, over your time. And if you can't control yourself, something else will. That's not motivation, that's a law. Look at your life honestly, not emotionally, honestly. Are your habits aligned with greatness or comfort? Are your days built for progress or distraction? Are you disciplined when it's boring, or only when it feels exciting? Because your answers already tell the truth, and the truth doesn't care if you're offended. It only responds to action. The baddest Motherf times cur doesn't ask, how do I feel today? He asks, what needs to be done? And then he does it. Tired, unmotivated, uncertain. He doesn't need applause. He doesn't need validation. He doesn't need someone to believe in him, because his belief is built on evidence, on reps, on kept promises, on suffering he chose instead of comfort he could have had. You want to know why people crumble under pressure? It's because they never trained in it. They avoided discomfort their whole life. They ran from pain. They escaped challenge. They numbed themselves every time things got hard. And then when life hits them full force, they fold. That's not bad luck. That's lack of preparation. Greatness is preparation disguised as pain. It's doing hard things on purpose so life can't break you later. It's building a nervous system that doesn't panic, a mind that doesn't quit, a body that obeys. That's why discipline is freedom. Because once you own yourself, nothing else owns you. The baddest Motherf times cur doesn't lie to himself. He doesn't romanticize struggle. He doesn't complain about how unfair it is. He accepts the rules of the game and plays to win. He knows that nobody is coming to save him. No mentor, no opportunity, no lucky break. So he becomes the opportunity. He becomes the break. He becomes the one person he can rely on. This path will cost you things. Friends who don't understand, comfort you're addicted to, versions of yourself you secretly like. You'll lose weekends. You'll lose ease. You'll lose the ability to blend in. And if that scares you, good. That fear is the doorway, because on the other side of it is respect. Self-respect, the kind that doesn't shake when things go wrong. You don't rise to greatness. You descend into it. You descend into discipline, into repetition, into sacrifice, into standards that don't bend. And every day you don't quit, something inside you hardens. Your posture changes. Your presence shifts. You speak less. You hesitate less. Because you trust yourself. And that trust is built in pain. Stop chasing motivation. Motivation is weak. Motivation leaves when things get hard. Discipline stays. Identity stays. Decide who you are and act like it every day. Decide that excuses are no longer acceptable. Decide that your future deserves more than your comfort. Decide that you're done living like everyone else. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. This is not about flexing. It's about becoming undeniable. So strong internally that opinions bounce off. So disciplined that chaos can't shake you. So consistent that results are inevitable. And here's the final truth. You don't accidentally become great. You choose it. Over and over. On days you feel like it and days you don't. You choose pain with purpose instead of comfort with regret. You choose to be dangerous instead of average. You choose to come from wanting it. Everyone wants it. That's meaningless. What separates you is what you're willing to destroy to get it. The baddest Motherf times Kerr understands this early. He understands that something has to die. Old habits, old routines, old identities, old excuses. You don't evolve politely. You shed skin violently. That's impossible. You can't keep the same mindset, the same discipline, the same daily routine, and expect a different life. That's delusion. Greatness requires subtraction before multiplication. You subtract distractions. Most people live in reaction mode, reacting to emotions, reacting to stress, reacting to life. They let the day act before the chaos hits. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait to feel confident. Confidence is built after action, not before it. You move first. The feeling follows. Face the resistance. That resistance is not the enemy. It's the signal. It's proof you're doing something that matters. And the baddest Motherf times Kerr leans into it instead of running away. Pain is not the problem. Meaningless pain is. Chosen pain with direction is power. Every rep you don't want to do, every hour you don't want to work, every urge you don't give into. That's you building authority over yourself. With it, you're unstoppable. The baddest Motherf times Kerr is not fueled by validation. He's fueled by vision. A vision so clear that temporary pleasure looks cheap in comparison. He doesn't need external approval because he knows where he's going, and he knows most people won't follow. That's fine. Lone paths create leaders. Crowds create averages. You don't need more information. You need more execution. You already know what to do. Train harder, work longer, focus deeper, waste less time. Stop lying to yourself. That's it. The formula is simple. The execution is brutal. That's why it works. Every day you wake up, there's a choice. Comfort or progress. Distraction or discipline. Excuses or ownership. And no one sees most of those choices. That's why they matter. That's where character is built. In the quiet decisions. In the moments when quitting would be easy and invisible. Greatness is invisible for a long time. Then suddenly everyone calls it luck. You're not behind. You're just undisciplined. And that's actually good news, because discipline is a skill. It can be trained, it can be sharpened, it can be rebuilt. But only if you stop pretending and start committing. Half effort produces half results. Full commitment changes everything. The baddest Motherf times Kerr doesn't dabble. He commits. He burns the boats. He removes the backup plans that allow weakness to survive. Because as long as there's an escape route, the mind will look for it. Cut the exits. Force growth. That's how pressure turns into power. You don't need to dominate others. You need to dominate yourself. Everything else follows. Money, respect, confidence, presence. They're all side effects of self-mastery. And self-mastery is built in moments no one celebrates. Moments no one posts. Moments that suck. If you're still here listening to this, that means something inside you knows you're capable of more. Don't ignore that. That voice doesn't come to everyone, and it doesn't come forever. Answer it, not with words, with action. Become so disciplined that your future self thanks you. Become so consistent that doubt has no place to stand. Become so relentless that quitting is no longer part of your identity. This is what it means to be great. Not perfect, not fearless, relentless. At some point you stop looking for permission. You stop waiting for the right time. You stop hoping life will get easier. That's the moment the shift happens. Not when everything aligns, but when you decide you don't need alignment anymore. You move anyway. The baddest Motherf times care doesn't wait for conditions. He becomes the condition. You realize something most people never do. Nobody is coming. No savior, no perfect opportunity, no sudden motivation fairy. If you don't force yourself forward, nothing moves. If you don't discipline your mind, it will betray you. Your brain is not your friend. It is a survival machine. It wants comfort. It wants ease. It wants what feels good right now. And if you let it lead, it will keep you small forever. That's why self-control is everything. If you can't control your thoughts, your impulses, your emotions, you're finished. You'll be a puppet to cravings, moods, distractions, fear. The world doesn't dominate weak men. Weak men give the world permission to dominate them, and that ends the moment you decide to take authority over your own mind. There will be days you feel nothing, no fire, no hunger, no energy. Those days matter more than the good ones. Anyone can work when they feel motivated. Anyone can push when they're hyped. The baddest Motherf times cur shows up when it's boring, when it's heavy, when it feels pointless. That's where the real separation happens. You stop romanticizing the grind. You stop needing it to feel heroic. You just do the work, quietly, repeatedly, without applause, without drama. That's how monsters are built, not in moments of rage, but in habits done thousands of times without negotiation. You start to notice changes, not dramatic ones at first. Your posture changes, your voice steadies, your reactions slow down. You're not easily shaken anymore. Things that used to break you now barely register. Stress doesn't control you, pressure sharpens you, and people can feel it. They might not know why, but they feel it. That's presence. That's earned. You didn't wake up confident. You became confident by surviving hard days you didn't think you could handle. Confidence isn't loud. It's calm. It's knowing you've been through hell and didn't fold. That's why disciplined men don't talk much. They don't need to prove anything. They already know who they are. You also stop explaining yourself. Weak people explain, strong people execute. When you stop seeking validation, your energy becomes dangerous. You're no longer wasting it convincing others. You're investing it in building something undeniable. Results speak louder than arguments ever will. This road will cost you comfort, relationships, old versions of yourself. There will be moments of loneliness, moments where you question if it's worth it. That's the toll, and it's non-negotiable. Greatness is expensive, average is cheap. You decide what you can afford. Most people will choose the familiar pain of staying the same over the unfamiliar pain of growth. You won't. That's the difference. You accept pain with purpose over comfort with regret, because regret is heavier. Regret follows you. Pain fades. Pride stays. You don't need to be ruthless to others. You need to be ruthless with your standards. Ruthless with your time. Ruthless with your habits. Ruthless with the excuses you used to let slide. No mercy for the version of you that wants to quit early. That version doesn't deserve control anymore. There's a point where discipline turns into identity. You don't force yourself anymore. You don't argue with your mind. You just move. It's who you are now. The work isn't something you do. It's something you live. And once you reach that point, there's no going back. Comfort feels wrong. Laziness feels foreign. You've outgrown it. You start thinking long-term. You sacrifice short-term pleasure without hesitation, because you see the bigger picture. You see the future version of yourself watching every decision you make, and you refuse to disappoint him. That's real accountability. No audience, no likes, just integrity. If you're still listening, this message is for you. Not everyone makes it this far. That means something inside you is ready. Ready to stop playing small. Ready to stop pretending. Ready to stop negotiating with weakness. Be the baddest Motherf times cur, not because you want to intimidate the world, but because you refuse to betray yourself ever again. Be disciplined when no one is watching. Be dangerous through self-control. Be great through consistency. This is not about hype. This is about who you become when the noise fades, when the screen turns off, when it's just you and your choices. Make the right ones. This is your line in the sand, and once you step over it, there's no turning back.